Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of CCUK Live Resin Q&A. And I'm excited tonight. We've got Lou that's going to be joining us from Create and Bloom. She was just in the studio, but she's now disappeared. So I'm hoping that she's going to rejoin. But how's everyone doing today? You know, for me, I just want to say before we get kicking off, thank you so much to the whole community. You have been amazing over the last weekend. And Lou's back with us in the studio, so we don't need to panic. But you guys have been amazing. You are what this whole community is about. You've been so supportive as well, and I appreciate all the support. And a massive shout out to you all. It's been exciting to start up the new Discord as well. We've got quite a few in there. So it's great. You know, it's a safe place for us all to go, and I'm excited to see where that grows. But back to tonight's show, we've got Lou joining us from Create and Bloom, and there she is. So, hi Lou, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. I've no clue actually what I'm doing, but I think I'm here.
You're there, you're there. I can see you, so that's a great start.
Great. I'm not sure what else you can see. Probably lots of children and teenagers wandering past, hungry kids, but just ignore them.
Have you not fed them before the live? You've got to do that.
Them, but they just don't stop eating. They literally do not stop eating.
I know that when I've got my girls, they're always like, Daddy, can I have a snack? And I'm like, go get yourself one, go on.
I can't see any chat, is that right?
You need to click on comments on the right-hand side. If you want to see it.
But I can when I click it, but it won't let me comment because it's saying it doesn't recognise my YouTube account. But anyway,
strange. But the questions I'll pop up on the screen, so you should be able to see them on the screen as I'm popping up these comments. I try and get them all on. Oh, you've gone again. Oh, she's gone again, everyone. That was a very brief live, but we saw Lou. Hoping she'll be back in a second. But there she is. She's coming back.
I don't know. I'm like a boomerang.
In and out. But no, and do you know what? It's brilliant to get you on as well. I've got somebody putting a test question in, so I'm presuming you can see that. Maybe. Yeah,
I can see that.
As we get the questions, I'll pop them up. But these lives, I'm so excited to get you on because we've been talking about this for months, and it's just been getting the date.
I'm a nightmare. Anyone will tell you that I just try and pin me down. Yeah. I'm one of these people who live in chaos. You know, I don't sit. So to sit like this, you know, is most unusual.
You can relax on a live. But no. So we've got Claire in from Claire's Crafty Corner as well. Hello. We've got quite a few in already. So
good to see you.
So with regards to these lives, it's really to find out more about you and about your story. It's nothing to do with me. But I've seen bits from other snippets I've seen and things like that. And I think your story is really inspiring from what I've seen, how you sort of came up with the idea of Create and Bloom. I think it was a £200 budget I've seen somewhere. And then you've grown it to what it is today. So, and again, the products, by the way, I've only just recently started using them, but I'm a huge fan. You know, the pigments are stunning. They're ultra concentrated as well, which is what I like. So they go a long way. And I think I've shared most of the pieces that I've done with them so far with you, and they've come out really cool.
Oh, nice. I saw the one that you have just demolded. Have you shared that on your socials yet, or was that?
I haven't yet, no.
I'm sorry.
That one, which is come out a bit like a fire bloom.
Yeah, it's Bee's Nest, is it?
It is. It's Bee's Nest. The purple one, which I always forget the name of, begins with a H.
Hellebore.
That's the one, Hellebore, and then it's got the faint sort of lavenderish background. So
nice. I like that. I love that mold.
Yeah, well, handmade that. Took 7 attempts. Took 7 attempts. Yeah, and then I used your pigments in this little axolotl that I did as well.
I love that one. I've seen that one. That was really cool.
That was more oink. That was the main color in that one, and that worked really well.
Nice. Very good.
And she's been fondly named by the community as Happy Flappy because apparently these gills here are now called flaps. So she's now called Happy Flappy. So she's on screen, everyone. And then there was the bloom that we made on the live as well. and I think you might have caught part of that, but that was using the
that is nice, that
one. So yeah,
cool.
what I like about them, they're not too heavy. Do you know some pigment paints, if you mix them in resin to do things like blooms, you just get loads of blobs. But yours, I found, if you just use what's left on your cocktail stick, they're still thin enough to not cause that heavy blobbing. So they work really well.
See, I don't tend to use the opaques, my opaques, to do a bloom. I do a bit, but I'll use I'll use a mix because of the density. I always find that they can blob a bit, but I think it's because I make my coasters too shallow. I think I need a little bit more depth.
I find with pigment paste or mica blooms, you're better off with a slightly deeper mold. If it's alcohol ink, then the thinner the better.
Yeah, nice. So, I'll have to have a little look at your channel and get some tips.
Yeah, we'll get some experiments going. But no, I want to find out.
Today. I have made some today for my YouTube premiere on Friday. But mostly I make accidents. So I just wing it.
Accidents are the best pieces. Some of my best pieces. I went for one technique and came out with something completely different.
Yeah, I'll start off the video. Here's my coaster, and then it turns out to be something. It's a bowl. It's a bendy bowl. Yeah, I'm good at that.
That's all part of the fun, though, of resin. That's what I've learned since I've been in it.
It's forgiving, isn't it? It's forgiving.
Yeah, and it's like Christmas Day. Every demold, it's like Christmas Day. It's like earlier I had my first demold where I've been playing around with some neon micas, and I know you've just come out with some neon paste, but this you can't really see it because of the camera. But I did a separate video, and I mixed 6 different colours in this one snake mold. Wow. And under the UVs, it comes out stunning. So, again,
I love the UV light.
And I need to try your paste as well, because you've got a new range of neons come out, haven't you?
A couple of different ranges. Do you mean for the paste, the pigments?
Yes.
Yeah, there's 7 there just behind me on the shelf. I'll give you a shopping tour in a bit, but they've been really popular. I'm lucky that they've been so welcomed into the community.
Yeah, but tell us about the story then. Where did you get started? Because I've seen some of your earlier stuff where I think you were just like anybody else, just creating little videos on YouTube. Just talk us through how you got to what you're doing now, really.
Well, I'm still like everybody else. I like to think I am. I'm still a practicing artist. I just make extra than what I want so that I can sell it to you lot. So whatever I feel's missing in the resin world, I shall buy it for myself or make it for myself and then make extra for all of us, really. I like to think that I'm still a practicing artist, albeit not so much as I could be, because there's a lot of business and stuff to do now. I mean, I do sit on a computer a bit more than I'd like. But so I don't really know where it started. Without doing too much of a sob story, which I think I've spoke about on other YouTubes, is I'm new to this platform, by the way. So you've all welcomed me with open arms. I'm so glad to be here, but I've only not been here long or haven't really built a community, but you've all been so kind to me. It seems like a fab community. I must say that, because it's different people on different platforms that I'm learning to know, because I know your business names, but not actually your personal names often. So whilst I think I know everyone, sometimes I get confused with actually who everyone really is.
I still get confused with names now. Same people coming in every week, and if they've got a different name to what their name is, I remember some that I talk to regularly, but some I'm just like, I best ask you your name again.
If it's a premiere, when I've been invited to look at someone's premiere, I'll join in with everyone else when they say, "Oh, hi Lula, hi Tracy, hi Andy." I'll be like, "Oh, right, hi Andy."
Copy the comment above.
No, yeah, you're not going to think I'm a big fraud now, but it's trying to learn who's who, really. So thanks for inviting me over here, because I don't know YouTube very well, and I'm grateful that you all are being so kind and supportive, and I hope that I can be over here a little bit more, really. And I just seen more of my products in action on YouTube. It's just so amazing, so thanks for that.
I think you're going to see a lot more of that from what I've seen. I think you're going to see a lot more people using them as your brand gets out there more, I think, on YouTube and places like that.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I'm just so grateful for every single interaction. You know, obviously I'm grateful for the sales, it keeps me going, but it's just that, like, I think resin and the resin world especially are very good. It's a community more so. So I have other creative communities. I'm passionate about watercolor painting and other arts, but the community in the resin world is completely different to some other creative communities that I'm part of, and it's special. It's like a network, a family. That is exactly what it is, a family, and everybody's got everybody's back, which I really love. So to be a part of that, I think I'm really lucky. But I don't really know how I got here, other than it's all a bit of chaos, to be honest. I'm winging it every day, and I would be a fibber if I said anything otherwise. So I was very creative as a child. I didn't really have a typical upbringing, as you probably saw on the last video. Yeah. So I did have a typical upbringing, didn't really do school or college because I lost my mum when I was a baby, and my dad had a huge stroke when he came out of the army when I was about 12 years old. So I stayed at home to look after him because he couldn't feed himself or anything like that. So I was missed by the education system and social care, if you like, and I didn't really go to school. I was registered at school, but it was in the days when you just didn't go. It didn't really matter. Nobody came looking.
Yeah, you didn't get fined.
No, not like now. 70 quid to take your kids on holiday.
Yeah, you've got to add that to the price of the holiday nowadays.
Yeah. So I was a bit of a loophole, but I had a great time. He had, they called it in those days shell shock, but post-traumatic stress. So he was very poorly, had schizophrenia, and it was art, really.
From that, so I know what that's like. Paranoid schizophrenia, so it's challenging.
Interestingly, I mean, I don't want to divulge too much as you lot don't want to hear this, but my mum and dad met in a psychiatric hospital, and that's where I was conceived. Okay. So the odds were always against me for a not normal upbringing, and I was either going to make it or break it, go one way or the other. And it was very much art that got me through. I was very creative with my dad. He couldn't do very much, but he was still very well in his head. It's just his body wasn't really working. So we did a lot of arts and crafts as I was growing up, as a therapy, without even knowing it was therapy in the house, you know. Yeah. And then one day an occupational therapist turned up to the house and was mortified that I'd been looking after my dad all these years and nobody knew. And she just kind of came in and gave me and my dad a new lease of life. And I was about 16 at the time, and I said to my dad, I'm going to do that job. I'm going to do that job. And I didn't go to school, so I had no GCSEs. Yeah. And so my dad went into care when I was 16, and I took the house on, and I went to night college, and I got my GCSEs, and then I went to uni, and then I went to uni again, and then I went to uni a third time. Not that that's important. You don't need to go to uni, by the way. It was just because I felt like I had no education, I went over the top and just went and got loads of education. Yeah. And that doesn't define who you are, you know, education or no education. And I became an OT, worked in occupational therapy, and then art therapy and all of that. And then I had a natural progression into healing art, colour therapy, that kind of thing. And I just loved it, bringing people together to make a mess with glitter and colour. That's all I've done really ever since. So I was in the NHS for about 18 years, and I didn't see many patients towards the end. I did a lot of work with military, ex-servicemen, palliative end of life, did a lot of hospice care, worked in Africa in the ghettos with did so much. I could go on forever, but we won't do that. Basically, I wasn't getting hands-on interaction in the NHS, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to come out and I'm going to go self-employed. So some of you will remember the days when I was Willow Tree Art before I rebranded to Create and Bloom. And I got lots of really great opportunities with other resin companies, other art businesses. I got social media work with people like Hobbycraft. So little bits to pay the way whilst I went and had children. And then things happened and it was time for a rebrand and a new chapter. And that's when Create and Bloom completely grew overnight with all the wonderful people on Instagram who helped me grow it. Yeah. Times changed, opportunities changed, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to give it a go. Before I don't know why, because it was the most economical, challenging time in the UK ever. For like,
was it just before COVID that you started it?
I was Willow Tree before COVID days. But I was very much travelling around community centres and still practicing in the NHS. Okay. So I would work. I don't know if anyone can relate. I can't see any chat or anybody or even how many people are in the room. But just so
you know on that, we've got 55 in at the minute and they are all singing your praises, saying they love your energy. I did not want to know.
I don't want to know. Now I've got all embarrassed.
But they've said talk as long as you like because they're loving getting to know you. So carry on.
Well, I was one of these girls that loved watching everybody on social media thinking, God, I don't know if I can do it. Can I do it? I'd be working on my lap tray. You know, the trays you get from Aldi in special aisle and you can work on your lap, can't you? And do crafts. And I was painting pictures on my lap at night. I've got a baby in one arm. I've got another child. I don't know where she was. She was somewhere. And I was literally painting in front of the telly like, I'm going to be big, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. And I put up a little picture of a watercolour blackbird and I put it up on Facebook and said, hi guys, I'm going to teach you all how to paint. I was just like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to come out the NHS, forget all the corporate policy stuff, and I'm going to paint little wild birds. And then within 3 months, I'd walked from the NHS and I had like 20 workshops a month, literally, from my personal Facebook. I was traveling from county to county, you know, with a boot full of brushes, a boot full of paints. And I thought, how can I incorporate my pouring arts in the community, as you can imagine, taking resin into community centres and churches. And it was just a nightmare. So I built a shed in the garden. And then I built a bigger shed, and then I was in the kitchen corner by the microwave for a little bit. And you kind of grow, don't you, and move around the house. Does anybody else do this?
Well, it's now my whole living room, so you can see behind me my main workstation. But at the minute, I'm looking across the room. I've got pieces curing everywhere. So yeah.
But we do, don't we? And don't let me tell you otherwise. Even you can have a big, beautiful studio like this, but I'm still in the living room. I'm still in the corner when I'm painting on Zoom at night with my watercolour guys off Instagram. Often I'm sort of perched on a stool, straddling the sideboard with a tripod that literally is sellotape roll. I'm still just going back to the old days.
I saw that actually. So that's a top tip for anyone that hasn't got one of these fancy tripods, isn't it? Yeah. 3 rolls of tape and then your phone just stacked at an angle.
Yeah, I always use my sellotape rolls. I can't be without them. They are my #1 tool for my business. I'm not even joking.
So if you've not got 3 rolls of sellotape that you can stack up, then get them now.
And if you haven't and you want any, I'll put one in your parcels because I keep every roll of packaging tape just in case someone ever asks. So, yeah, I just literally have moved around the house, leaving a little trail as the years have gone on. And ended up in the garden. And I don't know if you've seen on Instagram, the studio in the garden is phenomenal. But I built it for £800 on a budget and literally traded skills with other people and built it on a complete budget. And it's beautiful. And then I outgrew that. Of course I did. And then I came to just around the corner here downstairs. And then I outgrew that. And now I'm up here, which I'm outgrowing this one now.
Is your place now, is that like a purpose-built sort of studio that you've got where you do your classes and everything else now?
Well, I like to think that it's a greenhouse as well. So I've got all my plants and plants up there. It's a mess. It's a working studio. I've got all sorts of stuff going on. I've got rooms up here as well. I can't turn the camera around, so you're going to have to come.
No, that's fine. We're having a live tour, everyone. I didn't expect this.
And then I've got other spaces up here. Kitchens, bathrooms. I mean, it's good. It's a good place, but as you all know, it costs money, and I'm forever, every day. I would be not genuine if I wasn't telling you. I'm under a lot of stress and pressure daily to pay the bills. You know, there's an economical crisis in the UK. Everything is really tricky. You know,
I think it's everywhere, to be honest. Not just the UK at the minute; it's worldwide, and especially with everything that's going off. Without going into too much politics, but obviously with tariffs and things like that, because
I know.
I've already spoken to some resin artists in the States, and they're worried because they know that a lot of their products that they get from China and resins and things like that are going to double in price, you know, and it's going to be strange.
I've been really lucky in that respect because I am really passionate about supporting small businesses and creatives. I'm sure there's people in the chat that will say that I support them. Hopefully I do. Don't you dare say I don't, else I'm in trouble. But I've tried very hard to buy a lot of product and source it from UK and Europe. And so I haven't really, at the moment, been hit hard with the tariffs and stuff. Thank God. I mean, that's a fluke. I didn't plan it to be like that, but I like to know where my product is coming from. Yeah. So all colour and pigment and sparkle is 95% from the UK or Spain, if you need to know. That is where most of it comes from. Moulds, not so much. That's China. But I don't tend to supply many molds anymore because they're so easily and readily available. So
Claire's just saying in chat, actually, she's just heard that Shein are going to be up in the prices for the USA. They've announced that apparently. So interest started already. But tell me about where you get your inspiration from then, because I know the set that I bought, I believe it came with a little card with a little story on it, which I think is amazing, by the way, because it gives me a nice warm feeling when I use those pigments to a certain extent, because I know there's a memory attached to it.
I'm so glad you read it. If someone messaged me the other day and said, we should do a live on customer feedback, complaints and stuff like that, because I get some crackers. Somebody said, I wouldn't worry about putting the cards in. Nobody reads them anyway. So I'm really pleased that you've read it.
But you know, it adds something to it for me because it means that it's come from your memory, those colours. And the best thing about the sets for me is I haven't had to worry about what colours go together, because the set that it came in, I looked at them all and I thought, actually, that could go with that could go with that. And the set of 6, I think they'd all go together. And I think that's a useful thing for me as well, because I'm always thinking what colours go with what, because I'm useless with that.
So I don't talk about it often, but a lot of creatives probably in the chat will know that I've got personality synesthesia. So I have this ability with colour, which is a lot of creatives have it and probably don't realise they have it. But I pick up on mood and personality with colour. So I could talk for hours on this as well, but I won't bore you with that either. Basically, it's where the senses in the brain cross over a little bit. And it just means that I've got a little bit more skill with colour. I'm quite lucky that I can put colour together. And because I enjoy colour, it comes a bit easier for me. So sometimes I'll have a memory and I'll think about it a lot, but it reminds me of colours when I think about it. And so literally 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll write it down and then I'll roll with it.
Yeah.
Or there might
be do that, you know, we all wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning with an idea.
Yeah, and that'll be my art therapy head as well. You know, I've seen many things over my lifetime, horrendous things, and colour has been such a therapy for that. So I keep missing these comments. They are so small.
There's a lot of them that are really, really, really supporting and like the cards. I'm reading through as we're going through them, and they're all saying they love the story. So please keep doing those.
Oh, thank you.
They always go off on their own little chat in the chat as well. So it's not even about the live sometimes. So, but we've got some interesting creators that have turned up as well. It's like we've got Claire in there, we've got Petra. I don't know if you've seen any of Petra G's blooms and things like that.
Will I be able to see the comments from people later? Because these are new people, I think, to me. So I need to say hello to everybody.
If you watch it back on YouTube, there's a button that you can push to see the live chat as it was happening, and then you can see that.
Okay, and then I'll be able to say hello and thank you to everyone. The
He's
comments are
gonna-
like, they're tiny. You're like a postage stamp, not even that big. You're like
Are you
minuscule.
on a tablet?
I'm on a phone. I'm cheating.
That'll be why. That'll be why.
Yeah.
If you're not even on a tablet, it'll be that small. You won't see it. I didn't realise that.
Oh, damn. Next time I will be more prepared.
We've got another legend in the chat as well. It's just turned up. Daniel Cooper as well. I'm sure you've heard of him.
I have heard all of these lovely people. I need to make more of an effort on social media. And that's what really gets me as I'm busy creating and making stuff and products. I slack on the socials. And that, of course, is your friendships and families. And I feel so bad about that. But I would literally be working 18, 20 hours a day, I'd struggle to keep up with it all. So
I know that feeling at the minute. Trust me, I work full time, then I pretty much work full time again on YouTube and just
it's crazy, isn't it?
But I love it because, as you said, it's a big family and it's getting to know people. And this weekend, for the first time ever, I actually went and met 2 people from the community.
Wow.
So I met Lisa, who's actually my mod on here at the minute from Break the Mold Resin Art, and then I met Steph from Highland Home Crafts, and it was just amazing to meet them in real life and go, do you know what? You actually really are nice people. It's not just
it's not just
video.
Oh, that's nice. And I always say the same. If you're in the Cotswolds and you want to come and see me, you come in. But I'm telling you now, you are potting pigment and you're labeling glitters because I need you. And I will take you products.
Well, that's what I was going to say. As long as you get to take some of those back, gladly, it's worth the trip.
Perk of the job. You take what you need, but I need you here potting glitter.
Well, we're getting some questions coming through already. So I think let's get to some of those so I don't miss any. So Laura has asked, do you ship to the US?
I do, whether you'll get it or not. No, I'm joking. I do, but I found just recently probably 1 or 2 out of 10 parcels goes missing, and it doesn't matter who it's with, although I'm using Happy Post now, and so far no parcels have gone missing with Happy Post. They've been really cheap, really good. So Happy Post, guys, if you're shipping to the US, have been brilliant.
Okay. So, yes. I didn't know that because I know that there's a few. I know one of the ladies in our community, I think she ordered a set a while ago, and that's kind of gone missing with the US Post. But,
is that with one of mine?
Yeah, it was Erica from Kitty Kitty Studio.
Yes, she's emailed me today. It has gone missing. She is the one person that has gone missing. Yeah, we'll sort that out. No problem. I just need to give it a little bit of time before I can make a claim. Annoyingly, I've put the postage up to the US for the tariffs and stuff like that. So it's a little bit more expensive to post than it was, which is annoying. Some people will find a friend in the UK to get it for them and then arrange shipping between themselves. Sometimes that's works. So if I was sending 10 pots of glitter, it would probably be about 12 quid postage now. So roughly that's a guide mark.
Okay. No, that makes sense. I've also got Sue's asking, are your granddad's colours available yet?
Grandad's Acres, they are. Yeah, they're behind me. Oh, we're running low. The collections are running low, but they've been out a couple of weeks. They are beautiful. Do you mean the bigger jars? Because I'm just before I jumped on the live, I was designing the labels for the big jars because I do all the labels myself on the iPad. Everything's designed here, and then I send it off to my printers. So the bigger jars will be coming soon, but the collections of 20-gram jars, they're available.
I think that the guests are having problems with my microphone as well. I'm just getting a message through. So give me 1 second. Let me just test my settings and see if I can change that.
I can do sign language, but I only know swear words.
No, it's amazing actually learning that. I used to know somebody who did British Sign Language and some of the
cake,
swear
is it? Or more? I can do cake.
Let me see. Is that any better, guys? Just let me know in chat quickly. Is that any better? Any better? Let me know. Sorry about this, Lou. It doesn't normally happen.
That's all right. I have no clue. I am just looking at
if you
tiny
can hear me, I'm
postage.
presuming that everybody else can now, but there we go. So we'll go back on with the questions for now. So is your phone in tape rolls at the minute? Sandy's asking.
Sorry.
Is
Say
your
that
phone
again.
is your phone in sellotape rolls at the minute?
No, I got the £2 tripod from TikTok Shop. Have you seen it?
Oh, is
Oh,
it
I
that
love
green
it.
one I saw in one of the
Yeah,
videos?
£2 TikTok Shop. I have to show you. It's luxury, I know, but we do deserve luxuries. I've taped it up many a time. I love it. It's £2 TikTok
If it,
Shop, but
if it does the job.
I have ordered a couple of new ones as well. They're coming. I'll show you them all on stories or socials if you like. I love. I
Definitely.
I am a bargain hunter. I'm afraid you won't see me spending money. Though I'm very savvy. So if I can find a way, as a working in occupational therapy for so many years, we're problem solvers. So if I
Yeah.
can find something else, I've got this, which is a great tripod. It's a wonky tumbler that went terribly wrong. Look at the state of that, but it holds a phone perfectly, and it's a bit taller than a tape roll. So I use that, and sometimes I'll use these jars that I make. So I've got them all
And
around
if you've
me.
not got one of those, use a coffee cup.
Yeah,
Works
they
fine.
work too.
But no, it's do you know what? It's amazing what if you can put your mind to it, what you can actually use, to do
Yeah,
what something that you'd pay 50 quid for might
I
do.
can't pay it. I'm not. I know I can put it through the business, but I don't want to. I want to buy more glitters and pigment. I don't want to buy tripods and stuff. So,
That was
yeah,
going
I
to
mean,
be one of my questions. When you get an idea, so let's say a color palette that you come up with, how does
yeah,
that then go from an idea to which pigments you need to put in to get those colors
yeah.
and creating the finished product? How does that actually sort of go from that idea stage to the finished product?
Yeah, so on a Friday night, I usually launch little limited edition bundles, and most often they've got limited edition pigments in because I'm always mixing and making the pigments here on site. And what I'm doing is mixing up colours that I like. I don't care what anyone's asking, it's just what I like. Mix it up, swatch it. I use it for the week to see if I'm drawn to it, if I think there's a place for it, and then I'll put it in a little bundle. And if it becomes popular on a Friday night live,
Yeah.
when the community are watching me work with it or they buy it, and I get a general feeling that they love it, then I'll make it a permanent thing. So all my colours are literally hand mixed, and then they go into production. So I know the recipes for all of them, basically. So my hardest colour to make is Almost Midnight, which is the really dark navy blue. There's about 11 colours in Almost Midnight. I can tell you all the colours that go into it. Yeah, it's a real special one, that one. Bee's Nest is another expensive pigment for me because there's about 9 colours in that one, which I think you've
Wow.
just made that coaster with that
Yeah, it's
colour.
sort of an orangey gold, isn't it? I love it. It's like a really deep sort of goldy honey.
Yeah, so to bring each colour to the shop floor, it costs me about £800 to £1,000
Wow.
because I have to swatch, I have to kind of build the recipe, I have to have it made by the litres. The labels, the jars, they cost me £1.50 a jar. So it's not the little jars, that's the big jars, sorry. So it's quite a big thing. I always bring 10 colours to the table and then I shorten it down to 6. So Grandad's Acres actually was 10 colours and I sacked off 4. And I made the mistake of sharing that news on socials saying these 4 colours haven't made it. And so many people were like, no, we want that colour, not that colour. So I made a mistake there. I think moving forward, I'll probably be inviting artists from all the platforms to do their own collections with me and kind of have an involvement with it, because nobody wants all my stuff all the time. I would love to be able to get other artists getting involved and having a go, because I just think that's such a nice thing to do. So basically takes me about 3 months from start to finish to bring a collection.
With your neons, the first thing that came to my mind when I saw them, I've got some cork paintings from Peru that are antique, that were my parents, and they're
Oh
literally
God.
on books, and I've got them in a frame, but they're really bright neon colors.
Okay.
And I thought maybe we can replicate that as well in resin because it's amazing art. But there we go.
Do you use ChatGPT? I know there's a big controversial thing around AI and ChatGPT, but if you've got your pictures, as a designer and a creative, I don't think we should be fearing and being worried about AI. I think we should be learning how to use it for our business. So perhaps take those pictures that you've got, put them into ChatGPT and ask for some creative inspiration in my resin world, how I could incorporate these into my resin work. Tell ChatGPT what you like to make, maybe resin coasters or resin wall art. I want to incorporate these colors. Could you give me some imagery ideas for reference? And it will ping you some ideas. And I think that is just such a good idea for inspiration, because we do get bored, don't we? And we get consumed and see too much of the same thing. So that's how we get our fresh ideas. So
definitely. Well, I had an idea, and I'm not going to share it on this live because I'm actually speaking to somebody about hopefully getting a prototype done and it produced. It's something that's just come to me as I've not seen anything on the market solve the problem that I have with such a small space. And I've reached out to a company. I went out to ChatGPT to put in my whole idea, and I said, "Can you create me a picture of what I'm thinking?" And it was perfect. And I was like,
yeah,
It's from my brain.
yeah.
That's
it's an aid. It's an aid to assist us, you know. So use it. It's scary though. I understand it is a scary thing if you don't understand it, but I'm hoping I've got a craft retreat in May, which lots of guys will be coming to see us over those 3 days, and I'm hoping to talk a little bit about AI in the resin world on that retreat, so I'll keep you updated with that.
And I'll be honest with you, I couldn't do my descriptions without ChatGPT, otherwise it would take me 10 hours to sit there and type them all.
Yeah, just remember to tweak some of it, because the algorithms will be trained well before us to pick up AI, and it will pick up that you're being less personal on the socials. So always change and tweak.
I spent 2 days training it to be more like me, and it sounds weird, but you have to train it, otherwise it will just do a standard. And, it's so clear
and now it sounds more like you than you.
Yeah, sometimes it's like I put make it human, but with a little bit of humor in it, you know, a little bit of cheekiness and things like that, and it actually does. And I'm like, how does it do it? But
it's an assistant, and it's there to help us. So,
but we're getting loads of comments again, just in support of everything that you're doing at the minute. So it's great. I've got somebody asking when I'm taking Lisa to go over to see them, Chippy, because he knows that we all met up at the weekend, 2 of us. But I'm hoping this summer to try and arrange a massive UK meetup somewhere centrally where the whole community can just meet up together. I think that'd be amazing.
You lot are always welcome in the studios here. I don't know if it's big enough though for you guys. There's thousands of you, isn't there? You have to get out in the car park.
That'd be fun. We could do a camp out at the studio.
Yeah, we can throw stuff down from the windows.
That'd be amazing. Do a coaster in the studio and then camp outside, have a barbecue or something like that. It'd work really well.
Oh, you'd all be welcome, but there's just so many of you guys, isn't there? What about an event like the NEC and stuff? Do you ever get to meet up at those sort of events? That would be cool.
Makers is next month, and initially I wasn't going to go because there was a lot of the artists that I'd probably want to meet that I didn't think were going. But I know there's a few that are now reconsidering it because there's going to be some more resin-based artists going now. So I'm weighing that up, but for me, do I want to spend 300 quid for a hotel overnight if I'm not going to meet people that I actually want to meet there? And I think the Makers Central one is very mixed. So for me, it'd be perfect because I love my resin, but I also love things like woodworking, wood carving, and things like that. And I know it's quite a mixed bag with it, but for some resin artists, I only want to see resin. So there's a one, I think, in the NEC, sort of November time.
Mm-hmm.
But no, would be good. And then obviously you can always have a beverage or 2 afterwards as well, which I've heard sometimes happens.
That sounds fun. I mean, the NEC is only an hour away from me, so it's easy for me to commute, you know.
It's about an hour for me as well because I'm in the Midlands, so I'm in Nottingham, so it's not far at all.
No excuse for you.
No, well, I'll have to make a 2-hour commute down to you so that I can get looking at this studio and look at all these pigments.
Well,
But
you'll be potting glitter, I'm telling you.
Julia's asking at the minute as well, what are your next colours that you're planning? She's just bought the neons, apparently.
The neon pigments she's brought, because the powders came out last week. Oh, am I going to give you all inside information?
That's what you're here for.
Well, I have no clue. So I've just done the labels for the big jars of Grandad's Acres, all the beiges and the neutrals.
Okay.
And what else have I done? There's a whole load of new sparkles come in. I have also got this is top secret, guys. This is so top secret that I can't keep my mouth shut. If you ask me, it's going to come out. So I have got a wave enhancer for the seascape artists who like to make beaches. Like it's like a silicone. It's not quite, but it kind of makes our beautiful sails in our resin. That's come in. I have got I don't know whether to say it because I don't know if it's. I don't know.
Don't feel forced. Honestly, don't. If you don't want to say it, don't say it.
Only because if it's not good enough, I won't bring it. So a lot of stuff doesn't make it to shop floor if I'm not happy. Moldable clay, which is going to be for it's like moldable plastic, and you can shape and create, and it feels like sculpting resin.
Wow.
I've got the next collection. I've got about 12 metallics coming.
Oh,
metallic pigments, and this is within the next 12 to 18 weeks, not all at once. And I've got pastels coming. I have got
I didn't think I'd like the pastels. I would have never bought pastels until I bought that set, and I saw how using a deep darker color or one that's really pigmented with a pastel next to it, it's amazing. So
yeah. I've got subtle transparent alcohol ink metallics coming that do on the geodes, these really subtle cells on artwork. I'll show you. They're coming hopefully this week, if I can get them on the website. So this is just baby ones that are coming. You'll get a box of 12 different ones.
Oh, I like the look of those. So are they like metallic alcohol inks then as well?
They are, but they're very subtle. They're more for creating lacing and geode work. They are great for blooms. They're not as intense as my bloom drops. They're very subtle. And there's going to be that many. How many? 12. Yeah.
Now they look. Now the one thing with metallics that I've used before is I find that you've got to shake them a lot more than normal alcohol. But also you get like a powdery residue on the lids as well sometimes, don't you? So you've got to really clean that bottle before you use it next time. Otherwise you get little bits of powder coming off. Yeah. The trick to a really good alcohol ink is that it's not all ISO based, I find. And I like a really good bit of powder pigment in my alcohol. I like intense colour. So I like them really, really bold, but I find that really hard to get a good quality ink. I've got bloom drops for the tumbling world and the clay artist, polymer clay artist, hopefully working on some really good alcohol inks, but they won't be until gone summer. Did I hear that you've done the neons for EcoPore as well?
Yeah, we've got the neons for EcoPore. They were launched last week.
Wow. I love that because again, I love it. I've only just started playing around with EcoPore and doing some experiments.
I've seen. You did. Was it Friday? Was it? When did you do? You did some EcoPore. Was it your premiere? I've got lost on the days. Are we even? What day is it?
We're on Tuesday today.
Tuesday. Okay, we've celebrated Easter. It's Tuesday. I have no idea, but you did something, didn't you, last week on EcoPore?
Is that the one where I mixed it with deep pour resin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you get the results? Have you finished that?
Oh yeah, that was amazing. Where is it? I've just moved it. I'm just looking around now because I moved it earlier, but it was like a ceramic texture. So here's one piece. You can't really see in that mold because the camera's too bright, but comes out with like a stone-like texture, and it's so solid. So that is strong. It's not going to break. Which I think a lot of people are worried when they use EcoPore because it's quite fragile. But when I mixed it with the deep pour, that is solid. And it came out with a really cool effect. And I think a few people have done it since, and they've had great effects. So again, it's a shame. Play with it.
If you're working with a composite resin like EcoPore or Jesmonite or whatever your chosen one is, hopefully it's EcoPore for the sure hardness of it. But if you are working and making shallow makes like jewelry makes or something like that, I do sell the fibre shards that can go in the mix to strengthen if you're making particularly shallow makes. So if people are worried about that.
Or just do what I do and go crazy and mix it with resin and hope for the best.
Yeah, all in. To use less EcoPore in a big pour, you can mix loads of stones into it, so you get more volume, and then just pour that. So that uses less product. If anyone's on a budget like me and you're trying to save your product, I always put in all my resin scraps, all my bits that I don't want anymore, and I put them into the mix, into the cup, and then pour that. And you won't see it in the make, hopefully, but it means you use less product. So if you're trying to save your product a bit, that's a really good tip.
No, that's fine. Just so everyone knows in chat as well, I've removed somebody from chat who just kept on going on about gas masks over and over again. It seemed as if it was a bit of somebody just coming on the chat to get a bit of attention. So he's gone now. And his name is Mr. Beast Fan. So
his name's what?
Mr. Beast Fan. So maybe he needs to go watch Beast games again. I don't know.
I wish I'd have seen that. I would have loved to have had a little.
You'll get to see it back if you watch it back afterwards. But no. Sally's asking as well, do your children get involved in resin, or do they just demand things that they want you to make?
Well, they are here in the studio. I must not turn the camera because they will kill me. But they are always in the studio. They feel like they're dragged here. They have the worst life ever in this art creation because that's all they know, you see. So they get sick of it. But they do. They name for example, the mica powders last year. They all have a say in naming and labeling all the pigments and mica powders. So last year, my oldest daughter broke her hand, her little pinky. So that pink mica powder that landed is called Little Pinky. And then we've got another mica powder, which is called Purple Rinse, which is after Granny's haircut. And then they're all named after memories, basically, from the children. So the mica powders and glitters tend to be what the children name. And I tend to do the pigments. But yeah, they do definitely have a part in it. And Ellie, my 15-year-old, does all the UV DTF stickers. So she designs all of those on Photoshop and Canva and then prints them all for you. So those are the stickers that you get for your cups. Or if you're buying on a Friday and you get your freebies, often it's Ellie's UV DTF stickers that go in, and she does all those. So
interesting. It was my oldest daughter that actually got me into resin. So she's 14 now. And when she was 12, she went through a phase of liking resin, ordering molds from Shein and places like that, and creating things. Now, being 12, she got bored of that phase after about 3 months. And I'd spent like £200 on molds and resin at this point. I'm like, that isn't going to waste. But no, it shows your inspiration comes from everywhere, doesn't it? And I think that's the exciting thing.
It's our life. We live here more than we're at home, so it's just, if we get an idea as a family, we implement it. We're a girl family. It's just all us girls, and we just make stuff. My children will say that they are sick of it, but they are very creative and they won't admit it, but they hate it. That's what they say, but they don't. I know they don't.
Well, we're a girl family as well, with the exception of me. So I've got 2 girls, so I'm always surrounded by girls. And again, in this community, there's one thing I've noticed: more men are coming into it, which is exciting, because I think we need to get more of that 50-50 balance where there's men and women.
It's us girls. I would like to.
when I first started, I was like, I'm not using glitter. It's not a manly thing to do. I'm never going to use glitter. Now, every other project, where's my comedian glitters? I need to throw them in. But
I do have some manly glitters. I have merman scales, which are the Gaia and Aphrodite. I named those merman, trying to be fair with you all. But I mean, I think you can use glitter. I think it's absolutely fine. I think you'll be really happy if you do. I think it should be prescribed on prescription, like a glitter allowance. I think we should all have a monthly allowance of just a tenner or something that we have to spend, like like a ration book of glitter, like a glitter book that you have to have. I think we need to.
Being told off in chat at the minute, everybody's saying glitter is life. You can't say things like that, but real men like glitter.
Oh, that's weird. We've got a ghost in the studio and some flowers just fell off the wall.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. It'll be something explainable. Yeah, glitter for sure. I mean, I feel happier when I'm using glitter, and it's not a placebo. I definitely feel happy when I'm playing with glitter.
Well, one of my favourite frogs was mainly glitter. So he was mainly different comedian glitters. I've called him Disco Dave. And he's just amazing, and that was just different coloured glitters in different areas.
There'll be some sort of medical journal or scientific journal out there that something to do with the brain receptors or something about how we see glitter makes us happy. I bet you there's somebody out there who's studied it.
I've just got Sandy asking as well to just hear a bit more about the fibre shards, what they are. Am I right in thinking they're just like little sort of, I suppose there you go. If you've got some, they're like strands, aren't they, that you can put in?
They are. I have no idea where they are actually offhand.
They almost look like fiberglass, I think, when I've seen them. You're all right in chat. I do now love glitter. I am converted. So I do. Hands up. I'm a convert.
If Carolyn is in the chat, she works here sometimes with me. She'll know where they are. Ask Carolyn. Carolyn, where are the fibre shards? They're on the website. If you type in fibre shards, they'll come up.
Okay. No, that's fine. With regard, Claire's asking as well, do you use UV DTFs as well?
Yeah, we've got so many UV DTFs, so many. Ellie designs them all. I can show you some if you want to have a little look.
That's amazing. I know they're getting more popular at the minute. So if you've got some of those to show us.
So I'll make them specifically for you guys as well, which is quite cool. So a lot of people in the quantum tumbling world like to put a little decal on the bottom of their cups.
Yeah.
I really shouldn't be showing this disaster, but they like to put little handmade stickers, handmade with their business name. And so I've been doing a lot of those for people at the moment, but I'll go and get them and show you.
Okay.
So Molly, my little one, makes these little lobster stickers. Molly loves lobsters. She loves lobsters. But they go in your parcel. So if you find one, you get a £5 off voucher. So look out for any of these, especially on orders that are made tonight, because Molly's here. So she will be putting them in parcels. So these are stickers that people put on the backs of their cups, on the bottoms of their cups.
Okay, they're cool. I was going to say, I bet they would work really well for logos and things. So it's like if you sell your pieces to do that.
Yeah. I don't know what you want to see. I've got so many. I suppose there's abstract ones.
Are these available on the website? These DTFs?
Yeah, there's hundreds available. There's like floral wraps. It's a bit hard to see, isn't it? Because the backdrops.
Do you know the metallic inks as well? Will they work on the tumblers with the quantum resin and stuff like that?
They will, but they are a subtle metallic shift, so they're not as strong as alcohol ink as such. So you could drop them on your tumblers and they would give a ghost-like effect. They're like a ghost metallic.
I think too much metallic sometimes overtakes the piece.
So we've got the floating metal pigments that are in my shop. They're really intense. So forget, that's where your intense metallics are. And then these are way more subtle.
Okay. No, I like that. And you could probably use a combination of the two to get a really different effect. So you'd have like a ghost color in the background and then a deeper one on top.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've got some, these ones have been the #1 seller this week. So these rainbow ones, they're huge, but you can cut them out. So you're probably struggling to see, but there's all sorts of colours. And then I've got the boho version.
Wow.
I mean, there's loads. You'll spend hours. And even so, Suzette, I don't know if she's in the chat. She's a good friend and a good customer, but mostly a friend. Now she loves, there's a how do you say that? Trilogy. Trilogy, that's the one, of witches books. What's it called? A Discovery of Witches. Has anybody seen it or heard of it? So she asked me to design her some stickers based on that book. So I just knocked up some stickers so she could make loads of cups with the stickers of her favourite books. But you have to be careful with copyright. But I did my own designs. And so that's possible. You know, if you've got something you're really passionate about, I've got a book club, which is for creatives. I don't know if you know about that, but there's a lot of artists and resin artists who come to book club and have their own favourite books, and then I'll make decals and UV stickers for their favourite books and stuff. So we're always
just to respond. Somebody in chat, We Resin Texas, is saying it's too bad you're not in the US, but Lou does ship to the US as well, so it's still worth having a look on the website.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely ship to the US. I hope to continue shipping to the US. I've got no plans not to at the moment. I'm keeping my beady eye on Trump. We might have to stick him in resin if he carries on. But we don't talk about politics. That's one thing we shouldn't talk about.
Dan's having to leave as well, but thanks for being here, Dan, as well. It's been great having you on the live as well.
See you.
I'm sure we'll chat soon. But no, I think we've gone up to the hour. So has anybody else got any questions that we haven't asked in chat so that we can ask it? Because I'm conscious that I know Lou's normally pressed for time when I speak to her. So if we can have the next 5 minutes or so and go through any questions that you've got. Rin in chat is saying, don't waste the resin on Trump.
Definitely not. We might have to seal him first because of his tan.
I probably shouldn't say this in case there's any massive Trump fans out there. But it'd be interesting to see what his fake tan would look like in resin.
Wow, he'd need to be dipped in bloom finish to seal him first.
Interesting that. But you've got some really sparkly pigments as well that I've seen that I need to get hold of, I think. I've seen some of the aqua ones, I think, in some of your videos where they give a really, it's almost like a cross between a pigment paste and a glitter. Ah,
the pearls? Do you mean the pearl pigments? They are beautiful. Hummingbird is #1 at the moment.
Hummingbird. Well, interestingly, I've just poured, and it's still curing, so I'm going to have to be careful. But I got a holographic hummingbird.
Oh, wow.
I'm hoping that comes out okay tomorrow.
I think it will. It looks great.
So we'll see what that looks like.
So I can make stickers for you that would be small enough for key rings, yes, and some are small enough that you can snip out, and so there's this one which has got all sorts of little UV DTF stickers that you can get and just cut them out and just stick them wherever you want, really. So
and what sort of time frame would it be on if you wanted some being made, for example, and they came to you with an idea? How long would it typically take?
About 14 days, because I have about a 7-day wait for design work at the moment because my daughter does it and I don't like to put pressure on her. She's doing her exams. So
she get for it though.
She's on the books. She's paid good money. Yeah, she's paid more than me per hour, I tell you. She gets more than me. It's always the way, isn't it?
Sandy's saying that she loves the pearls. She thinks you'd do great if you did those in sets. Just saying, apparently.
the pearl pigments in sets. It's interesting because loads of people will do it in a set, but then they'll say, can I have just one colour individual? And so it has to be done twice, which is twice the cost for me. So whilst it makes sense to do sets, it's really hard. The 20-gram collections are great because a lot of people like smaller pots, but then the bigger pots, as a business mind, and I probably shouldn't be saying too much, but if I force you all to buy the bigger pigments, it's a bigger spend. So business wise, it's better for me. And the collections people really want, because there's quite a handful of colours that they all want, and then they want it because it's a collection. So if I have to think strategically and cost, because I am such a small business that I don't have the massive money to do that all the time. So I do have a whiteboard, which is as big as a wall here, with all these notes that customers and friends give me to think about. So we do think about that all the time. So any feedback like that is wonderful because it'll go on the whiteboard and we'll discuss it. And
again,
so
I think it's that you do both, because I often get sets and there'll be one colour that I absolutely love, use it time and time again, and then run out. And then I can't, then I've either got to buy a whole set again.
I know.
You can get it individually, which I think is great to do both, because the sets for me, they give me an introduction to the colours. So I can keep testing them, find out which ones are my favourites, and then I can go back and order the bigger ones, hopefully, in my favourites.
Yeah, so I've got a pop-up shop here as well. So often I've got lots of wonkies. So maybe I got a bit of pigment on a label. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just got a slight blemish on the label, so I can't sell it on the shelf. So I've got a pop-up shop which has often got loads of odd pigments or little jars available, and sometimes it might be worth saying, oi Lou, have you got this? I just want one. It was in a collection, but I don't want the whole collection. And I'll have a look in the wonky shelf to see if I've got it for you. So here, look, I'll show you. I don't know if you can see, but I've got all this stuff that's never going to get sold on the website.
Well, are they half price on the wonky shelf if I buy them all?
They are reduced rate for sure, yeah. So they'll be about half price. Okay.
That's interesting to know. I think I might have to make a trip down and with a huge black bag and just take the lot. But Resin is saying apparently if you get in with Amazon and get a storefront, you can sell items through Amazon and the US people can buy them without spending more on tariffs. I don't know how it works, but might be worth looking into.
Yeah, it's a full-time job selling on the platforms. I'm on Etsy, craft courses, TikTok shop. You know, I need another person which could just manage that for me, really. So I am looking at Amazon, but probably towards the end of the year.
And I think with Amazon, I think for a smaller business, the frustrating thing is you've got to send everything off first, I believe, to the distribution houses. So you probably have to increase the amount that you make as well. Yeah,
for sure. And it's a lot of outlay initially.
Nikki's saying that she's only 20 minutes away from you. So I think you'll be getting a knock on the door from Nikki at some point.
So what's Nikki's business name? Do I know Nikki?
So her and her husband, Kirk, you need to watch their videos if you haven't. Their banter is just hilarious. And you can tell that they're a loving couple that have been married for years. But every time I listen to one of their videos, I just smile at the banter. It's amazing.
I love that. I will. I'm going to make such an effort to come and check you all out on YouTube. Sometimes I just need to be told as well. So don't worry if you need to say, "Oi, Lou, for God's sake, could you please just go and watch this video?" Because I will. Sometimes you just got to be really abrupt with me and just say, "Do it," and I'll do it.
Well, the good thing is now, do you know, with these lives, I've done them for 20 weeks now. So if you want to get to know the artist behind the hands, which is what I sort of call it, go back and watch some of them and you get to know them as well. So
great, I will.
It's global as well. I've just seen Tim comment in comments as well, and he's based in Texas. He was on one of the lives and
cool.
Just grown to 2,000 subscribers and done an amazing giveaway. And Koenig's as well that we mentioned, they are creating a spider clown, apparently.
Oh, this sounds interesting. What is that? A fish? Isn't that
I think it's a cross between a clown and a spider is what I'm guessing. But
of course it is.
They just put in chat, they are serious artists, apparently. But no,
nice.
that's what I'm loving about doing these. It's like even with you. I mean, obviously we've spoken on Instagram and things like that, but I just feel like I know you better now just because I've seen you on camera.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. That's what it's about, isn't it? And also, all the skills and everything that everybody has, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it or how creative you think you are. Everybody shows up because they love you as the artist. Do you know what I mean? So I love that. I love that.
And I think, once you've got a following behind you that love you and you love the community back, you'll never lose them. And I think that's what keeps you hooked as well.
Yeah.
So you have a really bad week, post a video out there, and then everybody's putting really positive comments on it, and then it lifts you up.
Yeah, it is literally therapy, isn't it? And I tell you, kindness is always key in the craft community. Not everybody's art is my cup of tea, but I appreciate it nevertheless, like every other piece of art, because I know what's gone into it and that person's put their heart and soul into it. It might not be what I'd have on my wall, but I love it just the same because I know the person, I've seen the process, that it's got product in that I know, I just love that. And I love that people are just putting all their heart and soul into their makes. And it's hard. It's a hard world, isn't it, to get seen.
More and more people, and this is what I found in resin over the last year, more and more people are actually coming onto YouTube to share that knowledge. And that's what excites me. It's like on this, I've got some pretty big artists coming on in a couple of weeks, but I've also got the week after somebody who's literally just started with only 20 subs. So I think that way it helps those smaller channels get noticed as well as the big ones.
Just remember, I've won a small business award, and all across my platforms, I am small numbers. I don't have thousands of followers on any of my platforms. Instagram, 3,000 is the most, but other than that, and I'm reaching the whole world. I'm such a small platform. So I don't ever feel you need to chase those numbers, because all you need is an engaged people, a few people, friends, people that really love your product. And that's enough to keep you going.
That's great advice as well, because I think a lot of people think you need to get, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of subscribers to be successful. But I think you're right. As long as you interact with that community, even a small one, you could make it work.
And do you know what's really good for your mental health? I do it once every 6 months. It's just removing a few people that are a bit stale. Don't worry about it. Just flick them off. Just let them go. If they're not engaging, or they're a robot, or you've never heard from them before, just flick them off. Don't worry about the numbers. I have tiny numbers on all my platforms, and I still get to make art every day, and that's what it's about. So I'm meeting wonderful people.
Definitely. And I think that's the biggest thing, as you said at the start, the community is what makes it special. It's the fact that, and I've been part of different creators communities in the past in various platforms, not even just in the art world. And there is nothing like the resin community for being supportive, helping each other out, sharing the knowledge. There doesn't seem to be that greed where it's, I've come up with this is my idea, nobody can use it. It's like, this is the idea. Get out there and do what you can with it.
No, if I've made something and someone else goes and has a go doing the same thing, I feel joy that I've inspired them. As long as they've made a reference some way, that they've had inspo from somewhere, that's how we learn, isn't it? But what's the word they use for that now? Gatekeep. No, people don't like to gatekeep stuff, do they? That's a new word, isn't it? Because I don't remember that word 10 years ago. But
I'm used to that word because I work in sales. So I work in recruitment in the day job. So part of that is getting past what we call the gatekeeper, which is usually the receptionist, to get through to one.
I'd not heard of it until maybe the last year.
Yeah.
Who's put that? Highland Cow? No. I can't read. Have I said that wrong?
Highland Homemade Crafts. She's one of the ladies that I met actually at the weekend. So Steph and Lisa were the two ladies that I ended up meeting up with up in Rotherham, I think it was, we went to.
Hello. I've read Highland and I've put cow on the end because of the big Highland cows. Sorry.
Well, that is her logo, actually. I think it is a big Highland cow. She's based in Scotland. Normally.
Okay. I thought I put my foot in it then.
No. But yeah, I think you know, everybody's supported in the chat of you and what you do as well. And I've seen some of your earlier creation videos as well, and they're great as well. Because I know you did a lot of work back in the day with Just For You Online, didn't you? And then obviously you've sort of branded out with the Create and Bloom side now.
Wow, I am very much sisterhood with Nick and Laura at Apex Resin, and I wouldn't be here without them actually, because they are the rocket up my arse. So they are the ammunition really that keeps me going. And when I had nothing, they picked me up, and I won't forget it. And also the products are so good. So I like to think I bounce off them. Well, that sounds a bit odd, or they bounce off me, but you know what I mean? You know, I'm very passionate about the resins. I understand what goes into them. I know what's going on with them all. There's great things for Apex Resin, and there's great things coming with those guys. So yeah, I don't think
most of their range as well, and I couldn't agree more. The resins work amazing as well, and the different resins, the different techniques as well, stunning. So, and again, when I've spoken to them on emails and everything, they've been brilliant. So again, support them massively.
Yeah, they are a UK-based business, and it's very hard. But if we can support UK business where possible, even from the guys like you and I, the makers, to the creators, to the artists, to the designers, where possible, it means a lot. It literally. Have you heard of that meme where the artist is dancing in the kitchen when she gets a sale? She's literally dancing with happiness, and it is exactly that. And those girls really understand their community. And I think they were going to join tonight, which I'm sad that they couldn't make it. But I know that they think the world of their community. So, and they love you all dearly. And it doesn't matter, guys. I know I'm contradicting a little bit, but you don't have to buy for us to love you. It's great that you do buy our products, but we really appreciate just the interaction, speaking to you. People think, oh, well, I haven't been able to buy from you this month, Lou. And that's okay. That is absolutely fine. But I want to know how you're doing, because you love your resin like I love resin. So I think that is... sometimes people feel that obliged to buy, but we love you, you know, contributing on the Quantum and Apex Facebook groups, the YouTube chats, the TikToks and stuff like that. We just want to see what you're up to.
Yeah, well, and I think it all helps with the engagement as well, because especially when you're a smaller brand, shall we say, you don't have massive marketing budgets either to go and spend what some of the bigger firms can. So again, I think anything you can do to support smaller brands as well, and even if it's just sharing a piece and saying, look, these are the products I use, that's a massive help, I think, to small businesses.
Yeah, for me, I'm not a fan. I know they work, and I'm not moaning that they don't, but I'm not a fan of discount codes and brand ambassadory sort of stuff. But what I do like to do is send out golden tickets and hampers to people that are really trying, whether they're a small business or a big business. So often I'll do that. And the knock-on effect is I'll put a voucher in there that they can give to one of their friends. So they've got something, and they've got something for a friend. And that's really important to me. And I feel like the people that interact, that sometimes don't have the money or the opportunity, but they really want to enjoy the craft with us. Sorry, the gadget's shaking. My kids, you wouldn't believe it, are fighting on the other side of the room, and the table is shaking. And I'm still going and pretending not to notice.
They must go on.
Show must go on. But if you could see what they're doing to each other, it's nothing more than a miracle that I'm still going on. But yeah, we just love your interaction, and we want everybody to make and have a go with resin or some sort of arts and crafts. So that's why I tend to do a lot more freebies and treats in the post, and lobby vouchers and stuff like that, you know.
I know I got an extra couple of colours with my pack, and I was very excited because it meant I've got more to try with. So thank you for that.
Well, I always try and give somebody a little something. I think I would rather a treat or something physical than a code sometimes. If I got a little bit extra, or I can't do it all the time, but now and then I definitely do.
It's always nice to get something you're not expecting as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you open it up, it's like Christmas morning again. So and again, I think it's the great thing with things like, again, pigment paste. If people are new to pigment paste versus micas and things like that, a lot of people don't realize, yes, they're a little bit more expensive, but they're so concentrated, you get a lot more than you would out of a bottle of mica.
Sure. So you can, a general rule of thumb is no more than 10%, but you can actually get away with 3 to 4% with my pigments.
Okay. That's interesting to know. I'll use even less next time than one tiny speck and see what
You're
what happens.
better for me like, Lou, it's see-through.
Lou, I've had this for 2 years now, this little bottle, but I don't need to buy anymore. But no, I think that's the other good thing is you keep coming out with new products, new colours. So there's always something new on the website to look at. I've noticed that over there.
Every Friday at 8 o'clock, new stuff lands, but you've got to be quick because I am a small business. I think people forget that I'm a small business, but because I show up a lot on Instagram, they see me every day. You forget, don't you? Because, oh, there she is again. I am so small that I can't bring out hundreds of one product. So I tend to bring out around 50 to 60 of each one, get the sales and then go again, because I'm spending about £1,000 to £1,500 a month just on glass jars. Yeah. So I need to it's like a cash flow thing. And I'm so new to all this. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no clue. So I'm learning as I go. So I tend to keep things small because I don't want to be wasteful either and make loads of stuff that doesn't sell. So Friday nights at 8 o'clock is the time to get on the website if you want the new stuff. Every Friday.
Then Fridays at 8 o'clock if you want the new stuff.
Yeah, I do Friday premiere on YouTube at 8 o'clock where you can see it all in action before you buy it. And then I go on to an Instagram live straight after every Friday. And I've only had 3 Fridays off in the last 2.5 years.
Wow. Okay. You need a Friday off. You need an extra Friday off, I think. At least one a month you can have to yourself.
I've got no chance of that. Absolutely no chance. But I like your thinking.
Yeah. But no, if anybody else has got any more questions, last couple of minutes before we sort of close it up. And also, just to let everyone know, next week we've got Marva coming on from Marvelous Arts as well. So I know she's a big creator in the States that does a lot of art as well. So looking forward to meeting her as well. And then there's a big one the week after with 2 artists you may have heard of. So Claire from Claire's Crafty Corner and Wendy from Toonfish on the same live. So that's going to be interesting.
That'll be fun. Nice.
I don't think I'll get a word in edgeways, to be honest. I'll just be sat here in the middle like this.
You've got to get some more men.
Well, there's a few coming on. We've got a couple booked in. So I've got Butch coming on. He's an artist in the States. And I've got a new artist called Jacob coming on. And he's only got like 20, 30 subscribers at the minute. So I'm excited to get him on to help him grow.
Oh, that's cool.
And he makes some really cool things. So again, he's coming up over the next few weeks as well. Oh, we've got some more questions. So,
okay. If anyone wants to have a look at anything in particular as well, I can grab it.
Sally from All Aboard Resin Creations is saying your products are always beautifully packaged. Loves the boom drop bottles. And I'd agree with that. Your packaging is some of the best that I've seen.
Do not get me started. If you follow Instagram stories, you can follow my packaging nightmares, because there's a nightmare most weeks with packaging because it is the biggest problem in my business. So stay tuned on stories. I don't know if YouTube has stories, does it? Otherwise, I'd be posting it all day.
No, you can post in your community tab and different posts.
I don't know what that is. Oh, I need to do some education. Do you do that on here? Do you do teaching of that? Oh,
yes and no. I don't specifically do it on the channel, but I'm happy to give you any advice you want.
Oh, don't worry. I'll watch a YouTube.
So Julie Zan is asking, is there a glow-in-the-dark pigments available?
Yeah, I've got loads of glow-in-the-darks. Do you want me to go and get them? Well, they're on the website. So there's different types of glow-in-the-dark. I've got glow-in-the-dark, which are exactly that. But the UV resins and the UV pigments and the UV pigment powders, they also glow in UV light. So, but the glow-in-the-darks, they're all named after, is it Jupiter's moons? Or Jupiter. I've got Helen, Dione. There's about 5 or 6 different ones, and they are really phenomenal.
Okay, because there's a difference. Some people don't realise there's a big difference between just neons and glow in the darks as well, isn't there?
For sure, yeah. So if you look back on a couple of premieres ago, I talk about the Glow brothers who invented the UV glow. And so they glow under UV under certain light, and they don't have to be charged, and most things that are UV specific will glow under UV light, but glow in the dark pigments they need to be charged up a little bit to get going. Both phenomenal. The UV powders that came out last week, they seriously glow under UV lights. If you've got festival makes to do or disco stuff, disco, do we even say that anymore? I've got old. If anyone's got a disco to go to,
well,
a rave
with the youngsters, so with the little kids.
My teenager is giving me side eye like you wouldn't believe. She is like.
If my friends see this, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I do have glow powders. I better shut up now. I'm an embarrassment.
I'm just having a look through as well. Can you explain bloom drops as well to people, what they are, what makes them different to sort of normal sort of colour pigments and things like that?
Yeah, so the bloom drops have a lot less ISO content than a typical alcohol ink. Okay. They don't have any smell, and they're not so much of an irritant. I don't know if you've worked with alcohol drops, but you can smell them, can't you? They're really fumey, and you should really wear a respirator when working with alcohol ink. Whilst they do contain isopropanol, they don't have as much alcohol in them. So they suspend, I can't say that word, they suspend a little bit differently in resin. So we tend to drop them on our artwork rather than mix them into resin. So they're great in the tumbling world. And there's lots to choose from. I'll just get.
If you do mix them into resin, have you done that?
Sorry, say that again.
No, I was just going to say, have you had an experiment yet where you do just add them to resin to see what happens? Just curious.
Yes, I have, and they can change colour a little bit. So they tend to alter, not always, but artwork resins have a higher exotherm. They can generate a bit more heat. They can alter a little bit. So for the intensity, we tend to drop them rather than mix them. Hence their name.
So again, canvases,
are very beautiful.
Like that.
Sorry.
So again, by the sounds of it, they'll be ideal for things like tumblers. I suppose coasters if you did them the right way as well. If you just did it
this is bloom drops. These colours are all bloom drops.
They are cool. I'm going to have to get some of those.
But we tend not to mix them in as such. We tend to drop them. They're UV tolerant, so they won't fade. So they're great for artwork.
I was going to say, I straight away, when I first saw them, because I saw them, I think it was the quantum resin when that first came out. I think somebody did a video with the with those drops. I don't know if it was.
I don't know if you can see. They're all up there anyway. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see them all. The first thing I thought of was putting them on a canvas with silicone oil and seeing what cells they make.
So they have a silicone in them, unlike alcohol ink, they have a cell base in them, which means if you swipe with them or manipulate them, they will create cells. They lace because they have that additive in them, which is why they caused caused chaos, because they had different ways of getting different effects with them. You could have them just as a standard color, but if you swipe with them with resin pigments, they will lace, which is really beautiful. And it's really clever in the tumbling world to get those two effects, basically.
Okay, no, again, it's a newish product though, so I haven't seen it before you brought them out, and I think that's what's exciting. Is what can we do with it apart from just tumblers? Because I know a lot of the resin community don't necessarily do tumblers. And again, I'd be interested in what they do on EcoPore as well.
They do. I might have lost. They're great on EcoPore. If you drop them straight on EcoPore, they look beautiful. I can show you. Let's do it.
If you've got one.
This is just a test make that I made last week.
Well, don't go ruining it.
Oh, it's a test piece. It's fine. So they're good fun to just the intensity. Yeah. So they are really bold and intense and really staining. So if you wanted to paint with them on your EcoPore, you could do, but you might want to use a blending solution instead of water to get them to flow, because obviously they've got an oil in them. So you need a blending solution. But they are so intense. And I shall finish that with all random colours and make it really chaotic. And I'll post it on stories so you can see the finished effects. But because EcoPore is water-based, it'll absorb nicely. So look really cool.
Yeah. I did a weird experiment with alcohol ink, normal alcohol inks and EcoPore the other day. And it does colour it. I know somebody said that it didn't, but I thought I'd try it, and it does. And I tried different like metallics on there as well as normal. It's not the same effect, but it's something different, and it's still colourful. So it's worth playing with.
It or in it?
Actually on it.
Oh, okay.
You get nothing from what I've seen. Doesn't matter how many drops of alcohol ink you put in EcoPore, it still stays white.
Yeah, so that's the composite base of it. That's typical across the board. But the neon powder pigments you will be able to colour your EcoPore with, or of course the EcoPore pigments, which you can get on the Apex website or my website.
Okay. Sally is asking, could you put a layer of resin in a coaster mould and then drop the bloom drops on? I'm presuming then let them cure and then fill it again with more resin.
I just did it. 2 seconds.
Okay.
So I did it this morning. So this is EcoPore and resin with bloom drops, and then some more. This is terrazzo. I need to sand it back. It's not finished yet, but that's got the bloom drops in. Dropped the bloom drops on the resin, and then EcoPored.
I like that. It's a different effect again, that.
So it was scrappy leftovers, actually. The terrazzo, which is coming out on the premiere on Friday, is this terrazzo. I don't know if you can see.
That. Yeah, it's got the neon colours in it as well, hasn't it?
Yeah. So, and then I did another little dish, which was last week's one.
I've not done a terrazzo yet. I am thinking about doing one, but especially I want to try and do it to mix in sort of my resin bits that are my sort of leftover resin bits, and just snip them up and use that as the terrazzo, because then I think you'd get a shinier finish.
It's so cool. Yeah, you definitely do that. It looked great.
No, brilliant. Well, we've not had any more questions in chat, so we've gone on to an hour and a half. So I think I'll let you get on with your day. But it's been amazing having you on. Obviously, this will go back for anybody watching it back later on as well. They can follow your YouTube channel as well, so we can build your following on there, hopefully.
Okay, I shall put it on. I shall share it all tomorrow and look at your comments tomorrow. What I will probably do now is try not to murder the children and pull them apart, because in the time that I've just been talking to you, they've both got nitrile gloves on. They've been using bloom drops in polymer clay.
Right.
Oh no, blue tack. They've been through the drawers. They've eaten Easter eggs. I mean, they've taken full advantage, but that's just typical.
As long as they haven't mixed the bloom drops with the chocolate eggs and then at them, that could be a problem.
I'll let you know tomorrow.
It's been brilliant having you on. As always, thank you as well. It's been great having you on, and we'll be here same time next week, 8 o'clock on Tuesday. So I'll see you then.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.